Hello. I have said a few times recently that I don't get enough chance to actually just have a little play and have a little make session. So I'm going to do that today, and I'm going to try. I've got 3 things that I want to film. So I'm going to try my hardest to film 3 things today. The first one is I need to make some Christmas cards. I have started. I've made 2 so far. Not spectacular cards, but you know, they're not bad. They're not bad. So I've bought these basic white cards from Amazon. They are 5x7, so they're a pretty standard size. And for the Christmas cards, first of all, I'm going to use my Snow Days kit. I made them for Christmas cards, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do a couple of really simple ones, and then I'm going to do one that's got a little bit more to it. But okay, what I've already done is glued 3 little kind of diamantes on there just to make sure they were dry before I started to work on them. And I just need to trim that a little bit because I haven't quite got that right. Okay, so Christmas cards. Right. I think I'm going to go for that one. So we've got 1, 2, and then this one I've mounted onto a piece of book, so it's quite sturdy. So let's just cut this out. Got my metal ruler, my blade, and again I did this in advance to make sure it was nice and dry. So let's grab that. I thought the black would go quite. I'm going to try and trim that a little bit more. I've actually done a horrible job of that. So I'm going to change. I'm going to cut a new one. Okay, I'm not going to mount that. I've decided that one's going to be flat on my card, but this is going to be raised. Okay, I want this to dry before I glue it. So what I'm going to do is I've got black soot, and I'm just going to go over the edge of this with the black soot, and it is going to take a minute to dry. Try not to get any on my fingers because I do tend to end up covered in it. Okay, so I'm just going to put that aside, and I'm just going to ink the edge of my little words. And that needs to dry too, because like I said, this black does tend to get everywhere, and it does need a minute to dry. Okay, so that's going to be that one. And now I'm going to have a little think about these. I want these 2 to be fairly simple. I need a couple of words. So I'm going to try and choose a typeface that will go with the image. Kind of covers up any of that little white edge that you might have left. Now again, that needs to dry, so I'm not going to put that down on my card for a moment. Okay, right. So I'm going to just have a quick look at some of the trims I have. And these are those lovely trims that I got from Topology. And what I'll do is I'll just pop the link down below just in case. I'm going to have a little look and a little think what I want to do. I want to layer that up maybe. Have a little cup of tea while I think about things. Okay, so I'm going to grab this piece of card, move that over there, and I have a little bag of fake snow. Okay, so I've just got a card down here. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue along here, just along the bottom of my card. I'm going to use this a bit like a glitter and just sprinkle some along here. It's very similar to the mica flakes. For those of you in the UK. I got this, I think it was either last year or the year before, from Hobbycraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure to make sure some of that sticks. I'm just going to leave this aside so that dries before I shake off that excess. We're going to come back to this particular card. So I think I'm going to keep this one really, really simple, just to show how quick you can make some kind of handmade cards. Right, so one card at a time. We're going to concentrate on this one. Okay, let's give it a little bit of colour. I think I want something. I'm going to go for... Okay, I've got Stormy Skies Oxide. Then aside, I'm going to grab my mat. Now, this obviously sticks better to a glass mat, but this is the Tonic Studio 14 by 14 Easy Clean mat. It's a brilliant size. It does fit perfectly on my glass mat, but I'm just going to put it here for a moment. I'm going to put a little bit of ink down. Put a little bit of water down. I don't want to use my fingers, so I'm just going to get a paintbrush and mix that in a bit. Grab my card and I'm just going to put that down a couple of times. Okay, so I've got that. And I'm just going to give that a little dry. Rather than waste this, I'm just going to grab another couple of my cards and go in with a little bit on a couple of others and put those aside to dry for another card back. Okay, I actually prefer this one to the one that I did initially. So I'm going to dry this one, and this is the one I'm going to use for my card today. Pretty, pretty. So there we have our very first, very simple Christmas card. So let's move on to Christmas card number 2. Right, so this has had a little bit of time to dry, so I'm just going to shake off any of those odd pieces. Make sure the rest are stuck nice and firmly to my card. Okay, I'm just going to pop this back into my bag. I'm going to have this as a background, but what I want to do is make sure it's not going to move around, and I want to make sure I've got it the right way up. So, got a tiny little bit of my surgical tape. I'm just going to put this in place halfway down the card roughly, and I'm just going to put a little teeny weeny piece of tape to hold that in place. Same down here. Right, now under some of these silvery dots, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I mean, there's no point putting it on the net. It's just not going to hold anything down. But we just want to secure it. Make sure it doesn't move around too much. Now I'm going to take my card topper, and of course bits are still going to fall off. That's inevitable. I'm going to turn it over, glue this. And I'm going to glue the little words on. And then what I'm going to do is just trim off the extra off either side. It's only a tiny bit. Haven't wasted a huge amount of that. But that is card number 2. Probably could have brought that down a little bit. It's not the best, but it's handmade. Number 3, 2 out of 3. So I've got my front and I've got my word, and this is going to be not too complicated. I'm going to put this word fairly close to the bottom. I'm going to add that first so I don't overestimate the amount of space I need for my card topper. I have some of these craft squares, And that's what happens, you see. Can you see? I've got some ink on my card. Had to happen, didn't it? It was going to happen. Always happens. So I'm going to pop these into the corners. Not too close to the corners because these have got a black edge. They were actually reduced, so that's why I bought them. But they have got a black edge, which obviously a white edge would have gone better on these Christmas cards. So I'm gonna, even though this is backed and it's mounted, it's still going to be a very simple card. Right, so I've got various little snowflakes and things. I'm just going to have a little play around and see. Silver. If I put that up there, it might cover up some of my boo-boo. So I'm just going to put some dollops of glue around my snowflake. Slide that under. Put that down. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 Christmas cards, and the 2 that I made before, again, not fabulous, but I quite like them, and that one, which is not straight at all, but I love that card front. So simple Christmas card make. I hope you liked it. I will see you really soon. Bye.